Okay, so yet again, I have to say I am blown away by the amount of people who are into bruh now. The series finale dropped on BET Plus a couple of days ago. A lot of people are like, wait, they can't just end it like this, right? And I've had people say, look, I actually binge watched the show after you posted reviews talking about, yo, season 4 is fire, you need to go watch this show. And I've had people watch the show and they say, man, the first couple seasons were all right, but that season 4 just took it to the next level. These new writers know what they're doing. And I think that a lot of people who were turned off by the writers of Sistas now went over to bruh, and they're finally seeing what I've been saying. I mean, I've personally been a fan of the show before these new writers came along in season 4. Of course, season 3, we don't talk about that here. But yeah, okay, I did that long retrospective video. Check it out. What was it called? Tyler Perry's Bruh. How bad was season 3 actually? It's over an hour long. And if you're like, Jeremy, I actually like season 3. Look at that video and you'll understand why I didn't like it. But season 4, ooh, they turned the ship around. And considering we sadly didn't get a definitive ending to bruh, the question is, well, I don't know if we're getting more episodes. I don't think we're getting any sort of, finale at all. How would I end it? Because someone on YouTube actually asked the question. They were like, who is this? Don Nader Win 1897. It would be cool if you could write an alternative ending from your perspective, the way you did from the haves with the haves and the have-nots. Now, if you don't remember, the way the haves and no. You know what? I think everybody listening to me talk in this video that watched the haves and the have-nots or knows anything about the show, the ending was trash. Everybody but Hannah seemingly died. And I did a video talking about, okay, here's how I would have wrote the finale, and it did very well. Am I expecting this video to do super well? Not really, because even though now people, well, then again, I don't know. Now that more people are talking about bruh, maybe my content or my back catalog of videos will actually boost in numbers, which would actually help me a lot. Now, originally, look, it's only been several hours since someone suggested I write this ending, and I went to bed like at 6:30 last night, and I woke up at 2 o'clock. So it's 3:45 in the morning, and I'm wide awake, and I just kind of threw this together. But the thing is, it's not that difficult to write a quote unquote finale for bruh, considering that there aren't that many characters, which is great because the less characters means the more development. Now, I was juggling in my head about, the idea, okay, now, would I just write a finale or should I write, a final season? That kind of makes the most sense because I was going to say, you know what? We don't really need like 4 more seasons of bruh. If we had like another season 4 in terms of a length, like, okay, if we had another 10 episodes, what could we do with it? Now, I was thinking, okay, maybe I'd write the ideas for each episode, but I thought, hell no, I don't get paid for this. I mean, I get ad revenue, but I'm not going to bust my behind making an outline, episodes 1 through 10, detailing exactly what happens in every freaking episode, only to then have this video not do well, and maybe sometime down the road, somebody at TPS will, get a hold of this and then copy my damn ideas, and then I don't get paid for it. So no, but here's what I will do. I actually wrote a list of all the characters, and then I wrote, paragraphs talking about each one in terms of, okay, now if we were theoretically given a series or final season of bruh, here's what I would want to happen for each character. And you can kind of use your imaginations to fill in the gaps, but I think I did a pretty damn good job putting together how I think things should end. Now, I will mention things like, okay, now I have my personal bias either for or against this character, and here's why I want certain things to happen. Because trust and believe, if you've been watching my content, you know that I honestly do not think Greg and Darla need to be together. Regina needs to just let go of Bill. Just stop giving the dude chances. He's just trash. I respect Pam for wanting to move on, but the whole leading him on in terms of Mike, the entire stint in rehab was a bad idea. And, a few other things as well. But, oh, yeah, also, thanks to the cast. Several of them either messaged me or commented on my post that I made on Instagram. I made like a 6-minute video just talking about it's a shame how bruh ended the way it did, but I'm glad that fans are starting to appreciate the series now. And maybe if enough people go stream the episodes, maybe that will entice, BET to order more. So that's good. And I hope that they enjoy this video. I know several people are like, yeah, we want to see what you can come up with. And I do appreciate that they, appreciate what I do. But let's see here. So if you haven't watched the finale, which honestly, if you're watching this video, I'm pretty certain you did. We kind of need to pick up where we left off in terms of the proposal scene. Now, I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to mention a character and then I want to map out how I think things will go. It's going to be a bit interchangeable. So please stay with me. If I'm not too lazy, I will put visuals on screen. But if I don't, then just enjoy my voice. Okay. People like the voice. All right. So you got Mike proposing to Pam. Now I feel like this is a video game. Choose your path, because in my notes I have okay, there are 1 or 2 ways this could go. Either Pam can tell the freaking truth about the fact that she's moved on and rejects the proposal. There's the potential chance Mike could have a relapse, because sadly enough, while he was in rehab kicking his drug and alcohol habits, Pam became his new drug. The crutch he would lean on, constantly bombarding her with texts and phone calls. But all the while, she was entertaining another guy. And she even told Regina, hey, I can't put any more energy into that relationship. I just need to move on. Yet instead of doing that, in terms of cutting Mike off completely, you allowed yourself to be used up by him. So now that he's out of rehab, and if he loses his tether, which was you, there's a good chance he might actually fall back on old habits. And well, that's going to be bad. On the flip side, she could say yes to the proposal, but I think we all know if she does say yes, it's going to be out of guilt, which I feel like is incredibly selfish. And look, I don't mean to trash on Pam. If you watch my season 3 video, you know why I don't really like Pam in terms of how she's being written. Though it's like the Mean Girls. Honestly, this kind of started in season 2. I think Pam kind of fell off in season 2. Just in terms of her persona. We're led to believe Mike is supposed to be the asshole. But I think because Pam was hurt by Mike, I think it really just goes back to the Andy thing back in late season 1. She's been taking it out on, the other guys. The thing that gets me about Pam is that she's so concerned with trying to expose Bill and, just making things rough on the fellas. That yet she can't even bring herself to tell Mike the truth. So it's like, are you really no better than him or any of the other guys? You want to call out Bill for cheating and stuff, yet here you are leading not just Mike on, but then this other dude who I don't think we ever got the name for. But in any case, it would be messed up if Mike is guilted, or Pam takes the proposal as a form of guilt because she's afraid of the alternative. But let me just say that I don't blame Pam if she does turn down the proposal. What I hate about Pam is the fact that she just allowed herself to still be there for Mike even after she was supposedly done with him, And I feel like Pam reliving the trauma of her addict father through Mike is definitely it is definitely relatable in the sense of, I can put the Mike thing and her father thing in the same category. And from that, I can understand why she would let him go. It goes deeper than, Mike being a womanizer. It's the fact that, okay, look, I went through this shit with my dad. I'm not doing it again. So they break off. I completely understand. But they could just drag it on by having her accept the proposal despite not being in love with him. But will the writers actually make Pam that trash? Hopefully not. But here's the thing, though. I feel like Pam kind of played a background role because Mike wasn't in a lot of the first half, or a lot in season 4. I think if there was a back half of season 4, considering he's out of rehab, we probably would have saw more Mike, Oh, man. Because I just can't, I can't stop thinking about the fact that Greg saw Pam with another dude while he was at the bar. And it makes me wonder if Mike proposes, Pam says yes, and then Greg is like, hold up now. Because even remember, Bill said to Mike in the finale, hey, man, you better watch out about that proposal. I heard Pam and Regina, kikiing over the phone. So it just makes me think about how you might not know exactly what she's been doing while you've been in rehab. So it's just one of those things where I think that she might, okay, if I had to set up a poll in my mind, I would say that Pam would 70% say yes versus no. But like I said, it really depends on how long this final season is and how long they would drag it out. If the final season is 10 episodes, she would say yes, but it would only last for 1 or 2 episodes before it's revealed that she's been seeing another dude. And then, man, one of Mike's bad habits from previous seasons would be him drinking too much and then confronting Pam while she's on a date with another dude. This happened at the bar restaurant the crew would always go to. Heck, even at Bill's wedding, he would act like a jealous child. So I think that at some point Mike would probably relapse again, and maybe Pam would come back to. I would look, in real life, these two are together, which is great. So it's like they say, art imitates life. But I would just hate for Pam to go back to Mike as a form of, I have to be there for him, when in reality, I think that they learned enough from each other that even if they don't end up together, they can be better people in their next relationships. For Pam, it's like letting go of that past trauma from her father and his addictions, realizing that I don't have to relive the same cycle if I don't want to. Being in a relationship with an addict who has, just an addiction to drugs and substances, I don't have to follow that same path. Sure, my vices aren't, cocaine or wine or beer or whatever. However, I can't allow myself to be so addicted to a person and have that love for them that I don't do what's best for me. And on Mike's side, it's like, hey, despite my bravado and whatnot, I don't have to be a womanizer. I am capable of loving one woman, especially a woman that holds me down. My girl holds me down. Then okay, sorry about that. I didn't mean to throw the Sistas theme song in there, but it's just appropriate. But basically what I'm saying is Mike can move on to someone else. Now, I kind of hinted at this in season 3. Wait, when did Mike start going to rehab? Was it season 3? When did he start going to counseling? Was it with Natalie? Yeah, it was with Natalie at the rehab center in, was it season 2 or 3, people? I forgot. I honestly forgot. But I remember at one time, I think it was late season 2, because I remember saying, hey, I wonder if in season 3, Mike starts to fall for Natalie because of the fact that he opens up to her during his rehab sessions about, his relationship with Pam, but then come to find out, man, I really am an asshole. And then Natalie tells him so much truth about himself that he comes to realize, oh, wow, I am an asshole. And then Natalie could be that confidant, like, yeah, you are, but guess what? You have some good qualities too. And I feel like instead of Pam getting, the phone calls and texts, he would be, quote unquote, using Natalie as his emotional crutch, but that's neither here nor there. So yeah, I think Mike's path could be very interesting in terms of if he ends up with Pam, even though I technically don't want him to, because I feel like Pam would just only be doing it out of a sort of allegiance as opposed to her honestly wanting to. I mean, sure, she can go out and date other people. There's nothing wrong with that. But for her to eventually come back around, like, I love him more than anyone else. But did you really, Pam? Did you really? So I think Mike's ending should be he goes back to, the law firm, and, he's back on track. He's kicked his addiction. He's able to deal with the pressure of working at the law firm, a lot better, than before, and just go on with his life. So it's a toss up as to whether or not you think that he and Pam should end up together. But I think that Pam would say yes to the proposal out of guilt versus saying no and telling the truth out of fear that Mike would relapse. I think Mike would be in a situation where, he's on his knees like, hey, babe, I've been on my knee for like 30 minutes and you haven't said anything. So are you going to say yes or not? And then Pam could be like, Mike, I don't know. This is a lot. This is so fast. And then Mike goes into a speech about how, look, you've seen the worst of me. Look, I was watching the New Edition. So, oh, yeah, that's right. Because Pam played Bobby Brown's manager / wife in the Bobby Brown story. I was just thinking about when Bobby showed up at Ronnie's wedding at the end of the New Edition story. It's like, look, I'm the good, the bad, and the ugly in New Edition. And I think about Mike. It's like, look, you've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly side of me. And you stuck by me through it no matter what. And because of that, everything I went through in rehab, I wouldn't have made it because of you. So Pam would be on the verge of telling Mike the truth. But when Mike starts pouring his heart out, it's like, oh, wow, if I say no, he's gonna fall back. So that's why I'm conflicted on how to have it written. So, yeah, that's pretty much the Mike story. Okay. Miss Alice, this is going to be pretty brief. And I don't mean to be dismissive, but I think season 4 did a solid job. You toned her down. You had her dating a pastor. And I just think that her and the pastor continue to hit it off well. And I am conflicted on whether or not John gets to speak at the church about Blessings Incorporated. And don't worry, I'm about to talk about the John storyline now. I think that at some point, Alice will have a heart-to-heart with John about his father, because I think back to when she first met Jack at the sandwich shop at the end of episode 2, I think. Was it 2? I think it was 2. But essentially, when she saw Claudia run into the sandwich shop and hit her in the back and then looked at the crazy eyes that Jack had, she's like, I know that look. That's the look of a man who wants to hurt a woman. And then I remember thinking, like, I wonder if that's an allusion to John's father. Because back in season 1, early season 1, he and Miss Alice kind of had a brief falling out when John mentioned how his mom would never tell him anything about his dad or get to know his father at all. So who's to say his father wasn't abusive? And, that's why Alice, refused to allow John to get to know his dad. So Alice knows from experience what it's like to deal with an abusive relationship. So maybe at some point, when John finds out about the Claudia thing, then Miss Alice could have that talk with him. Because I always think about that one scene we got this season where she encourages John about how, oh yeah, you remind me of your uncle. He had a business drive like you, so I'm really proud of you. And we can have another sentimental moment like that between mother and son. Especially maybe John can understand his mom just a little bit more with her crazy ass. All right, so let's speak of John here. Here's how I would pick up his story. So we know that he and Laura were leaving the, the restaurant or club or whatever after the dinner that John treated his mom and Laura to. Now, Laura was coming on to, well, we know she's thirsty for pretty much any man, but, of course, she's had her attraction to John, especially checking out his package when he was standing up ordering drinks. Now, granted, they left before they got their next shot of doubles, so I think John is still sober enough to know what's going on. Laura was just hearing what she wanted to hear, talking about, I could take you back to my place and sex you up real good. What? No, I can take you back to my place and set you up, real quick with the paperwork for, Blessings Incorporated. So I feel like they would go back to his place because Ms. Alice said, well, she was going to Bible study and whatnot. So I'm just going to go under the assumption that Miss Alice won't be coming home that night. So it's just going to be John and Laura there. So, John is, getting his stuff together. Remember, dude got the suit on, the apparently bad smelling Blessings Inc., cologne on, and he's putting the paperwork together. Okay, yeah. So here's the different tiers. I mean, if you want to be an investor, you want to join the team for 1,500, you could do that. Or if that's too expensive, then you could just be someone who, buys some of the product and you try them out for like a few weeks. And, if it actually starts to, I don't know, help you lose weight, help your skin get clearer, whatever the, benefits of using our products that you want to happen. If they do happen, you could start, showing up at the meetings and giving your own testimonial. Or, whatever, just tell me what you're looking for. I'm looking for you, John. And then she starts, going in a lie like Nikki Parker on the professor, just going, at him. And then John is like, whoa, no. This isn't what's going on here. Because, John always has to fend off her advances. But this time around, maybe Laura is just impressed, like, oh, you're in the suit, you're making money, you're really, business savvy now. And just that's making her more attracted to him. So I'm thinking in the midst of their thing going on, honestly, I don't think John likes Laura like that. I just feel like it's kind of an interesting twist. Rain told him, I don't like to mix business with pleasure, because technically Rain is like his team leader or boss. John is in the same position with Laura being the boss of, well, it's kind of debatable. I think John technically does own the sandwich shop, but since his mom works there, it's like, I'm the boss. Okay, Ma. Okay. So I feel like the same thing is done there, but let's just put it this way. John has a higher rank above Laura at the sandwich shop. And as a result, it's like, look, hey, I ain't no business and pleasure. All right. You're my employee. I'm your boss. We ain't going to mix anything in that. So I'm thinking in the midst of John, running away from Laura, or, just Laura, I don't know, flipping the table over, just wanting to have John no matter what. I don't know, maybe she's like ripped off his coat, his ties all messed up, his zipper's undone because she keeps reaching for him. But John is like, no. And then there's a knock on the door. It's like, Miss Alice, thinking like that's Miss Alice, or I don't know who else. But John rushes to the door. Maybe Laura's in the bedroom or something like that, trying to ambush him. And then John, looking all disheveled and all, opens the door. It's like, hello. And it's Rain. And you're thinking, how would she know where he lives? Well, she signed him up, and obviously he gets the products from somewhere. I'm inclined to believe his address is on file, so she knows. And I feel like Rain makes a surprise pop-up to visit John, to congratulate him on his couple of sales. And maybe it's that time of the week for their, one-on-one meetings, but instead of a conference call or anything, or even at the sandwich shop, she decides to randomly pop up. And from there, well, let me just say that this rain wasn't in the forecast, and John is being caught in a very uncompromising position with Laura, because you can imagine like Rain's like, wait, John, what's wrong? It's like, you're looking, a little rough right now. Something up? Oh no, I actually am here with another potential client for a blessing zing. Oh, that's great. Because remember, Rain said, not business and pleasure, but maybe, I don't know, as time goes on, she's become more attracted to John. So maybe she's sort of kind of wanting to lift that restriction on her client and her being in the team leader position relationship. Like, maybe she would be open to trying to date or something. But then she overhears Laura's voice and is like, wait, with a client, huh? Yeah. And then, Rain just leaves pissed off and distraught because of the fact that she wanted to open up to John, like, allow pleasure to intermingle with the business. And, maybe she has the idea, oh, okay, that's how you get clients. You sleep with everybody that you sell products to. Okay, John. So I don't know if he would get kicked off the team or anything like that, but just the fact that it would just be strictly business, cold professional between him and Rain from now on, which is really freaked up because, John was really feeling her, but, the Laura thing kind of messed that up. Now from there, kind of like with Mike and the proposal to Pam, the story could go one of two ways. Natalie, remember, said that she would try some of the product, and if she liked it, she would allow John to hold meetings at the yoga studio from time to time. Bill, remember, bought some of the cologne, bought all the cologne that John had on hand, and apparently, Regina mentioned how it didn't smell that great. So, I Natalie could either love the Blessings Inc. stuff, or she could say, look, this stuff is awful. This is clearly a pyramid scheme. John, I don't think you really know what you're selling people. So choose your path. Either Blessings Inc. is legit, or it is trash product. Now, if it's trash product, maybe John could confront Rain about it, and they have a falling out, and, John decides to go his own way. And he sadly doesn't end up with Rain, which leaves her open for me, so I'm not mad about that. And let's say he's distraught because it's like, man, I put my all into this. And those sitcoms, My Wife and Kids or whatever, where you have a character who's usually depicted as the dummy or the class clown of the group. And they really haven't made it far in life because they don't apply themselves. But the fact that John showed initiative and actually did succeed somewhat with his own stint in Blessings Inc., Alice or maybe the bros come together. It's like, look, man, we saw a side of you that we never saw before. It's like that initiative. I mean, if you put that same energy that you did into Blessings Inc. into your own business, a sandwich shop, you could really thrive, because the thing is, John has always had that get rich quick scheme mentality, usually depending on the money of others, instead of utilizing his own resources in order to enhance what he already has, which is the sandwich shop. And I think if John put the same initiative into his sandwich shop that he did for Blessings Inc., A&J sandwiches might actually blow up. I don't know, man. I don't really know if they have like social media or whatnot, but I truly feel like if he, came up with new sandwich ideas or, things like that, I believe his sandwich shop would take off and it would become, like a major food chain. And I think that's the best way for John to succeed, instead of trying to outsource different ways of getting fast money. He maximizes the potential of the sandwich shop that he already has. And as a nice callback to season 1, once he starts making enough money, he can officially pay back the bros for giving him the money to start up the sandwich shop in the first place. Season 1 lore, if you don't know about it, go watch season 1. Now, on the other side of this coin, let's say Blessings Inc. is legit. The products, aren't for everyone, but they do work. And Natalie opts to give John the option to hold meetings every now and then at the yoga studio. And heck, maybe Natalie decides to become an ambassador somewhat of, herself, considering if she uses the product and likes it, she'll talk about it in a positive way, give her own testimonials. And heck, her doing a yoga studio and probably having a knack for all things like, organic and natural, this could actually be a benefit to the both of them. So John could climb up the ladder of Blessings Inc. And at some point down the line, he and Rain reconcile. She understands that, oh, wow, that Laura situation wasn't what I thought it was. And, her and John get together. There you go. And they could be, a kick-ass and team leader duo within Blessings Inc. and just take it to the next level. So that's what I think. Honestly, though, as much as I do like that story, I do think I prefer the idea of John just killing it with the sandwich shop, because that's something he built, and Blessings Inc., while a pyramid scheme, showed him he is capable, far more capable of what he thinks he's, able to pull off. I don't know. Maybe he could take that same energy when it comes to like giving the pitch meetings to different people about Blessings Inc. What if he gave a business pitch to a bank or a financial lender and gets a loan that allows him to, either remodel or make a second sandwich shop, or maybe even like a food truck or something to invest in, to take his sandwiches, across Atlanta to get more people to come to his actual shop. So I think that's the best way to do it. This can almost mirror the way that Rich, aka Bill, has the juice shop in Sistas, and he's about to get a second, location. So the same thing can kind of happen for John. That's what I think. So, and I mean, if you want to, take it to another level, maybe he has a couple more sandwich shops at some point, and Rain rediscovers John and is trying to have a meeting there for Blessings Inc., but maybe the business fizzles out. And you know what, folks? I honestly think Rain is into John. Regardless of Blessings Inc. being a legit or scam, I think she was attracted to John, and the fact that she saw the potential in him, I think these two would eventually get together. So, John, I want to be the bigger man and let you have Rain, even though I want her. So yeah, John, John makes it. He makes it. Okay. Next up we have, it's kind of funny because when you look at Bill, Regina, Tom, Darla, and Greg, all their stories are kind of intertwined this season. So let me try to break this up and make some sense out of this chaos here. Good old Bill, man. Something else. I was actually rooting for the character at the beginning of this season, feeling kind of bad. I'm like, wow, he does feel bad for the Claudia thing and how that's possibly going to impact him and Regina due to Jack, trying to find out the guy that she was cheating on him with. But then we find out he and Natalie are still doing the nasty, and well, Bill. So I think given that Regina is already suspicious and Bill is hiding things from her, at some point she's going to find the panties in the gym bag. Got the drawers! And Natalie's plan will work out. Regina's going to go off and leave Bill once and for all. She's just tired of the lying and the deception. And I mean, you really can't blame her. But then again, I do blame her for still going through the process of marrying Bill to get revenge. Because at the end of the day, there was nothing stopping her from marrying Peter aside from her guilt/conscience, if you want to call it. Because the fact that she had that bathroom sex with Bill the night of her bachelorette party at the sandwich shop and then had the nerve to get at the altar with Peter is a damn shame. But I think that Regina leaves and her mom, comforts her. I knew that man was no good. I knew it. So Bill, feels guilty and Natalie wins. However, here's the thing. Bill mentions I'm a family man now. So I don't know if Natalie knows that. I feel like there are two things that could set Natalie off here. Finding out that Regina's pregnant with twins, or the fact that there's Claudia, or there was Claudia on the side. Because when Bill says I'm a family man now, I don't know if that implies that Natalie is aware of the babies on the way or not. Or the fact that, family man, you're married and whatnot to Regina. You're playing house, but you still want me. And then on the flip side of that, Pam, for whatever reason, just never told on screen Natalie that Regina was pregnant. So I wonder if Pam, and I'm not blaming Pam for Natalie pursuing Bill and Bill going to these late night yoga sessions. So Pam, I'm giving you a little grace, even though I do think it's ridiculous that rather than simply saying Regina's pregnant, you just say, Mike is calling, I gotta go. In the time it took you to spit out that gibberish, you could have easily told Natalie 10 times over, she's pregnant. So, and that just goes to show women do, I'm sorry, I don't want to say women. No one respects relationships or a ring nowadays. If somebody wants someone else, they will go after that person. It doesn't matter if they're married. It doesn't matter if they have kids. It doesn't matter if they're engaged. It doesn't matter if they've been in a relation or they're in a relationship. If someone wants someone, they will go for it no matter what, which is wild as hell. But then again, I don't know. That's just the way the dating world is nowadays. But in any case, I think Natalie is thinking too highly of herself in terms of being on Bill's priority list because, you're addicted to me. You're not addicted to sex. And I bet you think about me all the time and the things I do to you and the things you do to me. All the while I'm like, well, if you only knew about Claudia, Natalie, if you only knew about Claudia. So I wonder if the babies would be a turn off for Natalie, or if finding out about the Claudia thing would be the turn off for Natalie, or hell, maybe even her and Regina kind of come face to face over the cheating. And remember, if I remember correctly, Regina used to go to Natalie's yoga classes, so she knows who Natalie is. So, But from there, I go back to the Blessings Incorporated thing, where either it's a good thing or a bad thing. Natalie could be the reason that John finds out the product is whack, or the product is legit and she's able to help John elevate his business, maybe even becomes a partner of his. So Natalie's tale, I feel, doesn't end with Bill. I don't think her and Bill are in game. I think she will find out that there was another woman and now Bill's life is in danger, and then that could negatively impact her. So she opts to leave Bill once and for all. Hopefully doesn't wind up pregnant, but I don't know. These two like it rough, so imagine Bill. I don't think Bill deserves a happy ending. I'm going to be completely honest. The dude is trash. So I think that, it would be messed up, but what if he ends up with two pregnant women? Hopefully they wouldn't both have twins, but I just think of the fact that if the story wanted to take a darker turn, Jack eventually finds out who Bill is. This the dude that my wife was cheating on me with, and I don't think Bill dies. I don't want Bill to die, but maybe he'll get shot or something. And I would hate for Regina to pull a Pam, and it's like, I have to be there for him. And, in that moment when Bill is at, death's door, she decides to come back, and then they end up together. I'm going to be a better man, and, my cheating is what led to this. Because if it wasn't for the Natalie stuff at the end of the season, I would give Bill the benefit of the doubt. But the fact that he so quickly just jumped right back into having sex with another person, I don't think he deserves to change. I feel like, he needs to pay for the consequences of his actions. So I think Jack will get some sort of shot off on him. And, he's in the hospital, and that makes him rethink things. So I would hate for him to get, shot below the belt so he can't have sex anymore, because he would probably just off himself. I know that's dark, but dude is an addict of sex. And imagine if it's like universal karma. It's like, this ding-a-ling has gotten you into enough trouble, Bill. So I'm sorry. I am so sorry. That is such a dark way to spin it. But, oh, man, that would just be awful. Oh, no. So I don't know. You can pick your poison with Bill. I don't think Natalie will end up with him because she finds out that dude isn't faithful to. This is going to sound messed up. Dude isn't even faithful to his wife or his mistress. So it's like, if he's not faithful to me and he's not faithful to his wife, then I don't want him. So I don't think Natalie and Bill end up together. Regina, it's a toss up. I don't know. It's kind of like with Pam. If the writer's going to do what the writer's going to do, I just think Bill doesn't deserve happiness because the dude is shit. The way he does women. But then again, these women allow themselves to go through with this. Natalie knows what's up, yet she still keeps. I mean, I'm confused because wasn't it episode 8 where she shut Bill down? But then next thing you know, in episodes 9 and 10, they getting it on. Bam, 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 bam. I don't know. Oh, I'm sorry, not bam, but bang, 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 bang. So I don't know. And then Natalie, playing the panties, I thought that was pretty messed up too. So, homewrecker. She likes it rough though. That's nice. Okay, next character. Let's see here. Well, I guess we need to talk about the Tom thing, because I'm going to be completely honest. I think Darla would call the cops. I think Darla would do it. I think she will do it just based off how she was acting in the finale. She's like, I need to go clear my head. She's going to call. I have no doubt in my mind that Darla will call the precinct, let them know about Claudia's whereabouts. But the thing is, unbeknownst to her, either the officer she talks to on the phone, whether it be her superior, another cop, heck, it could be one of just the receptionist there, whoever's on the other end of the line, or maybe the person over the phone relays this information to someone else. Oh, we found Claudia. And someone overhears. Basically, someone that's in the pocket of Jack learns the information about Claudia's location, and it's at Tom's apartment. They get there, and then, because Jack said 100K to whoever brings her back. So I don't think it's a shoot on sight. It's more like, you get my wife and you bring her back to me. So I feel like there's going to be some sort of major confrontation going down at the apartment. And then Darla finds out that, oh my gosh, Claudia was right. I just signed her death warrant. Greg finds out, and then he and Darla just have a falling out. Well, I'm sorry. I thought no, because of you. Because technically Tom is at fault here, because bringing Claudia there just left a huge target on not just himself and Claudia, but everybody Greg, because he lives there, and Darla, because she's right down the hall. So basically, Tom bringing Claudia there put everybody in danger. So I don't know if somebody's either going to get shot or whatever. Now, if you really want to make it kind of congested in there. Maybe Bill comes over to talk to Tom about the Natalie thing. He's like, look, Regina found the panties, and like, oh, Claudia. And then it's like, wait a minute. So I got my, wait. This is Claudia, Jack's wife and the dude she was cheating with. Double the pleasure, double the fun. Pow, 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 pow. So then that's when maybe Bill gets shot and then he's in the hospital. And then, Claudia gets taken away. Tom gets, beaten up or whatever because maybe he gets jumped. And then Darla comes over and is like, oh no, ah! And then she calls the cops. And then, well, even though she is the cop, she calls 911. Bill's taken to the hospital. Tom, is taken as well. But maybe he's like, no, I gotta help. I gotta find Claudia. So then the question is, does Claudia die? I don't think so. I feel like the story needs some, just some levity to it, some happiness, some happy ending. I think that maybe Darla redeems herself by taking down Jack because she is kind of like Judas Iscariot. One of the main reasons, not the direct reason that Jesus Christ got crucified, but he is a major reason why. Because I remember in Sunday school, look, I'm taking it to church now. Hey, Alice was going to Bible study and she's dating a preacher. I had to throw in some scripture here. I remember as a kid in Sunday school, the teacher was like, so kid, when it's Easter season, like every year you learn about the resurrection, the crucifixion and whatnot. And she asked the question. I remember that I was like 8 years old. I was like, so who do you think, whose fault is it that Jesus was crucified? And it's like she went around the room. Everybody gave different answers like Judas. Oh, Peter for denying him. Oh, it's Pilate for allowing Barabbas to go free. But then she's like, no. Everybody had a role to play. Not only was it something that was meant to happen. Look, the predestination thing at such a young age was such an impact on the life. But whatever. Well, essentially, it wasn't just one person's fault. It was like, a row of dominoes. What happens if you knock one over, the entire thing falls down. Everybody is at fault in some way, shape, or form. I look at it from the perspective like Darla thought she was just doing her job. But sometimes it's like, even though you have, and I think Tom is in too deep, but sometimes even though you take an oath, when you're trying to obey the laws, sometimes you have to bend those things. So I feel like there's gray areas there. It's like, I know this woman is in danger. And if I don't do everything I can to protect her, then honestly, I'm partly responsible for her getting killed. Because even though I did everything that I was required by law to do, me knowingly leaving her in harm's way, I feel responsible for losing that patient. So I think that's the gray area that Darla will start to realize, like, wow. So then, amidst of Greg, going off on her because it's like, you called the cops, and because that's the thing that made me mad is like Darla's getting, going in on Greg in the finale. Like, you know what, y'all, I want you to take responsibility for losing a patient. First of all, Claudia wasn't even my patient. I was going in there to check on her, and then that's why I noticed she was gone. So if it wasn't for me, we wouldn't even been able to report the missing patient in the first place. So then Darla, because Darla, tried to be a smart ass before. It's like when Greg, hey, here's a picture of the guy. Oh, that's what we do. We already had a photo. Well, did you know? Well, he had somebody around here. Well, actually, this dude was around here the other day looking at the room. Wait, he was? We didn't know that. Well, I thought that's what you do, right? I feel like the same thing could happen here. Darla shoots her mouth off, but then she gets, a clap back where it's like, oh, okay, I was wrong. So her and Greg, have a falling out for like the 18th time. Again, I don't think these two need to be together. I just feel, but I don't know. Maybe Greg gets shot too. I feel like that's a bit too much. Greg is out and then, the police come over and I think he finds the place to shovel. His friend is shot. His friend and roommate got beaten up. Claudia's gone. So I think he and Darla have a falling out, but then Darla could quote unquote redeem herself by, taking out Jack or at the very least saving Claudia. So there's that. Then we look at the job aspect of it. I think Tom might be in trouble at first when it's exposed that he's the one that saved Claudia. Because if Darla calls the police station, then word is going to get back to the hospital. Hey, they found Claudia. Where was she? At Tom's apartment. Dun, dun, dun. And then his the chief physician is going to be like, well, Tom, this isn't looking good. even though I applaud you going above and beyond, the board doesn't agree, so you won't be chief physician. But at the end of the day, when Claudia is saved and maybe she'll give a testimonial about everything, I think Tom would still get the position. But I think the happiest ending for Tom would not just being chief physician, being able to find the balance between work, love, and his boys. You know, because he's young, he's energetic. He's like, hey, look, I appreciate you giving me the job, but there's no way I can give my entire life to it, even though, you know, you put your life on the line for it. I think that it's kind of like if you watch Dragon Ball, it's like, oh, Gohan's the strongest, but he's not a warrior. He likes to study books. The best Gohan is a Gohan who knows the balance between his family, his education / career, and training to protect the earth. And I think the same thing can be done with Tom, where he's great at his job. He's able to find someone emotionally stable, not like Dina, not like Valerie, and be able to, you know, enjoy life with his boys. I think, look, I don't know if I want Claudia and Tom together, because I love the idea that dealing with the abuse his mom suffered when he was a kid inspired him to go into the medical field to begin with. I mean, yeah, he did kiss her on the head at the end of episode 9, but that was more like, hey, I got you. Not, I don't like the idea of these two being romantically linked, especially the fact that Bill and her were doing the nasty so many times. I just think that Claudia is just a survival story, and I think that, you know, her story could be giving testimonials to other victims of domestic violence. So I think that Claudia should survive. Tom should get that promotion and be a shining example of what it truly means to do what you can to the best of your ability and beyond to care for your patients. So I think that's where I want Tom's story to go. Now, like I mentioned, in terms of Greg and Darla, you could either have it where Greg comes around and is like, oh, Darla, you did it. You saved him. You redeemed yourself, yada, yada, yada. They end up together because the whole trans thing doesn't bother him anymore. Look, the sexuality thing aside of, you know, Greg possibly being into trans people, I don't think that's the defining reason why I don't want these two together. They just aren't a good fit. I've said it in damn near every review. They do not respect each other's boundaries, and Darla is emotionally unstable. So I do not think these two make a good match. Again, if you want to have a happy ending, you can, but I honestly do not think they need to be together for a number of reasons. So, my personal bias aside, yeah, Darla, I don't care. Let's be in a relationship. They can end up together, yada, yada, yada. I honestly don't think it will work, but what do I know? Because I'm just thinking, remember earlier this season, okay, Greg just randomly met some chick at the bar. Someone who's not trans. I'm assuming this person is just, you know, not a trans woman. They go back to his place and have sex. And if I remember correctly, Darla's like, oh, I can come by if you want. Oh, no, I actually just want to be alone tonight. Just a long day with the patient and whatnot. And then Darla did swing by, which, oh, I heard some stuff falling over. I want to see if you're okay. And I'm like, nah, you just wanted to go over there to see what was up. So, and then the next morning, Greg asked his girls, like, so you want to hang out or something? It's like, oh, yeah, I'm actually, look, we both, you just got out of a marriage. I got out of an engagement. I'm not ready to just be tied down to another person. But then Greg, I guess because that girl turned him down, fell back to Darla, and it's like, that doesn't really seem fair to her, so I don't really know what was up with that. So I just don't think that, I think that Greg might try the Indian fusion once and then not like it, and then maybe he and Darla can be friends and that's it. Indian fusion being a metaphor for you know what. So I don't think that's going to work for him. So again, write your own ending. I just don't think personality wise these two are a good match. So from there, maybe Darla can, you know, bust the corruption at the police station like she's Commissioner Gordon from Batman. And I don't know. And Greg, you know, like he said, hey, Tom, you know, man, take this position. And if you hold it for several years and then you don't like it, then, quit, and then you can give the job to me. So I don't know, maybe that's what happens. Maybe Tom, if he isn't able to find the balance that I would love him to have for a chief physician, he opts to keep the job for a few years, but then says, you know what, hey, I'm ready to find life outside of work. So he, either goes to a different hospital, moves away from Atlanta, or just kind of reverts back to just being a standard doctor at the hospital, and he's able to find a work life and love balance even better. So there you go. Wait, is that it? Is that in my notes? Yeah, honestly, folks, I think that's it. I talked about John, Alice, Bill, Mike, Tom, Greg, Darla, and by extension, Natalie, Pam, Claudia, and Regina. Wow, I did it. Okay, so overall, for John, even if he isn't able to find love with Rain or Laura, which I don't think will work. I don't think that's going to work. I want him to find money and success, whether that's through Blessings Incorporated or through enhancing his own sandwich shop. For Tom, he saves Claudia. It's not easy though, but he saves Claudia and he gets the promotion, but he's able to balance life outside of work, time with his bros, able to find love and just continue to be a shining example of a doctor who goes above and beyond for his patients, for everybody underneath him at the hospital. For Mike, kick his addictions for good. And for him and Pam, it's a toss up. I don't think they need to be together. I know this sounds weird because hell, I think that practically every person I described. Okay, I think the only people I said that, okay, yeah, I can see them ending up with someone, Alice and the pastor, John, and maybe Rain. I want Tom to find love outside of work with somebody who's stable emotionally. And I think that's it, because Bill doesn't deserve a happy ending. Mike could have a happy ending. I don't think he and Pam are in game, though. Bill, like I said, no Bill. Mike deserves happiness. Tom deserves happiness. Greg just doesn't need to be with Darla. I don't think that's going to happen. It doesn't make sense. Yeah, so there you go. It's kind of half and half. So I think Mike, stay clean, go back to work, realizes he is capable of, locking it down with just one woman and finds love from there. Pam could either have hey, there are great men out here, but they aren't Mike, versus, yeah, Mike, that was an interesting phase, but I'm ready to move on with my life. Yeah, that's it, folks. That is officially how I would end Bruh. It doesn't all have to be sunshine, rainbows, and happy dancing. Some people get better endings than others. So, hope you enjoyed the video. If they ever bring Bruh back, maybe they can implement some of this stuff. And if they do, give your boys some writer credit. I got a mortgage now. So, hey, the extra money helps to pay bills. But, yeah, I just feel like Bruh definitely deserves better. But if not, I hope you enjoyed my ideas for it. Let me know how you would end the series. Would you have Pam and Mike together, Bill and Regina, Bill, Natalie, Tom and one of the nurses? Look, Tom needs to stop dating at work. It's just that. John and Rain, Alice and the pastor, Greg and Darla. Would you want Claudia to survive, or would she end up getting killed? I would hate for her to get killed, because not only would Tom be in trouble with his job, but then the patient he tried to save didn't even make it. So it's like, what's the point? Man, there are some dark themes in this season, but they really could have dug deep. And these writers just showed us less is more. 10 episodes, and y'all just kicked Sistas' ass 10 ways to Sunday. Yeah, 22 episodes in that show, and that season was just bad. So, yeah, that's all I have. Share this video around. Tag Tyler Perry Studios, BET Plus, whoever, to be like, yo, this dude who actually gives a shit about Bruh came up with these ideas. And let him come down there soon. His birthday's on August 29th. He wants to see the studio. But it's not about me. All right, that's all I got. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.